What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.
Take Every Wave, the life of Laird Hamilton, documentary on Hulu about the surfer, Laird Hamilton, who is an innovator in the world of surfing. He has existed outside of like the pro surfing world. He doesn't compete in surfing. He just tries to expand what surfing can be. Huge fan of documentaries in general, but surfing documentaries I really enjoy as well. Endless Summer, kind of one of the first original documentaries that I remember seeing. Endless Summer 2, which is also good. Then there were a couple bad surf movies. Point Break was okay. Growing up, I would spend time during the summers with a friend and their family, and they had, so we'd go to like San Diego, the beaches in San Diego, or they had a house and they moved to Hawaii, which I went to go visit them a few times and learn how to longboard surf, did a lot of boogie boarding, but I enjoyed the ocean, enjoyed the water, never really got into it when I moved to San Diego. I tried. I got a longboard, went out a couple times, but it was just, I don't know. I think I probably would have if I had somebody to get into it with. But there's a documentary back in those days, in like early 2000s, mid 2000s, called "Step Into Liquid." I want to say by Dan Brown, but he's also did like. From Dust to Glory, which is an amazing documentary about the Baja 5000. He's the son of the guy that did Endless Summer, and he directed Endless Summer 2, I believe. But Step Into Liquid is a documentary about surfing in general, kind of explores all the different types of people that surf and the different reasons people surf. Just a great documentary. But this is the first time I heard of Laird Hamilton. Later, there was a documentary called Riding Giants, which was just about big wave surfing, also featuring Laird Hamilton, because he is probably most recently known for big wave riding. So he kind of pioneered big wave riding in a lot of ways through technology. He was like the Steve Jobs in a way of surfing, because he wanted to not just sell you what is now, he wanted to invent the next kind of way of riding water. And he did that by using different methods. He used this industrial Velcro so he can get Velcroed to a board. So to catch the bigger waves, you have to be going faster. So he would use like a boat to tow him in, and then jet skis came out. He also experimented with like windsurfing and eventually foil boarding, which is like you're riding a surfboard, but then there's like a rudder that goes underneath instead of where your fins would go, a little bit forward. But a rudder would go down like 3-4 feet, and then there would be like this little plane. It looked like a plane, like an airplane, but it would go underwater, and then that would lift you up over so you're almost floating above the water line, so there's less friction, you can go faster, and you're basically just riding on this plane that's underneath the water. Boats are getting to use it, like the technology that Laird developed for his foil board, because he wanted to just kind of keep riding that large wave from far out, but be able to keep speed so you're able to catch it just through its evolution as it kind of, dies out and then comes back. He worked with people that are starting to use it in like the boating communities and like in speed boating and things like that, because it helps reduce friction, so you have a much smoother sail and you go a lot faster, and I think you have more control. But just super interesting, because he just doesn't care. He had the abilities to kind of fund and live his lifestyle because he was young. Like a lot of people who surf regularly, they tend to just be in shape and be attractive, and he was hired, I think, along with his brother is how he got into modeling. And then that kind of helped, fund his thing. He also was in one of those bad surf movies, I think North Shore. He played a bad guy in that, like he was an asshole surfer, and apparently that stigmatized his view from the outside world, because everybody else would just thought he was that character and thought he was an asshole, which I'm sure he was kind of standoffish. He was raised by, like, he had a stepdad that was extremely stern, which, stern for the 70s and 80s is called child abuse today. But it turned him into somebody who's very driven. Laird Hamilton is one of those guys, one of those people for me that I look up to, somebody that inspires me, because he's always putting himself in the uncomfortable position to grow, for growth, whether for growth in his art form, to grow with, the ocean and waves. And it showed like that it was priority over even his family and his loved ones, that the ocean and riding waves and finding out new ways to ride waves was almost, that was his first love. And his wife, his supermodel wife, and his kids, those were all like secondary, but still secondary. Like, he's living a lifestyle of just a surfer that can kind of go out and do. He's not working a 9-to-5 job, so he's still spending time with his kids. Like, his kids surf, and they do things in Hawaii, and but they go through a rough patch, because that's what happens, man, when you're in the middle of something, especially if you're in the middle of developing something like a big project and you get lost in it. You get lost in it enough times, you're just disappearing from your family. And I can't. That's one reason for me I'm hesitant to get in any kind of. I'm not looking for a relationship. My last relationship, just broke my heart. So I've been very tentative to even attempt. Like, that's like not even as far as my priorities of things that I want to develop and get better. Like, a relationship isn't something that's high on my to-do list. Just because the things that I'm working on mean far more to me to figure out how to make these things successful. It's far more important to me, and to just learn and do better at the things that I do than it is to have an emotional connection with another person. Oh, it's so sad. It's such a sad life. But yeah, Take Every Wave. Also, the Take Every Wave that's what he loved about when he started big wave surfing, because all the beaches were getting crowded with people, and it's just hard to find waves that you can just go and ride every single wave. As long as you can get out, you're not having to wait for a wave that somebody else, there's this weird thing when you surf where you have to like wait for right away, and it's like, very alpha versus beta kind of dynamic of, there's a lot of politics that go into surfing as well, and like territorial, all kinds of shit. So being able to go out and surf the breaks that were far out on far out reefs was just allowed him to take every wave, and he's learning so much faster, because instead of just riding 10 waves in a day or 5 waves in a day, he's able to ride 10 waves in a set, which is set of waves. That's how waves come in. They come in sets, so it's like a bunch of waves, and then you wait a while, and then you see them out in the horizon. You got, one outside, and then they come, bunch of waves come in, and the documentary, spoilers, the documentary ends with him getting towed in on his hydrofoil board and basically rides the never-ending wave. He rides a wave, and it kind of dissipates and goes away, but then grows again as it hits another reef on its way into shore. And he hits, like, this wave dies and grows back like 3 or 4 times, and then the movie ends. But just such a great movie. Take Every Wave, the life of Laird Hamilton. Watch it. Be inspired. Just as I am. New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out daily. Subscribe on IGTV and everywhere else podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at patreon.com/Inspired Disorder. InspiredDisorder.com for all of my original artwork. Go buy some paintings now at Ray Taylor for me on all social media. Have a great day, everybody. Peace out.